All right, everyone. Welcome back to your BeFit podcast. I'm your host, as always, Conor Murphy. And if you are wondering what is going on with this one tan, two mustache, we just finished a trip to the Dominican Republic. Big Night Fitness, working together with a travel brand to bring you some of the best fitness retreats available that you'll ever see. It's incredible. I can't wait to announce it. But for now, you can just think about the mustache as a staple in what is to come. So, with a lot of these videos, I've been talking a lot about, hey, there's some simple things that you can do to start moving your health markers in the right direction, to start moving from a state of sickness into wellness and from wellness into fitness. And I kind of feel like a chump in this because it is simple. Yes, simple does not mean easy, but on top of this, if I'm going to give you these, this harsh reality of the fitter you are, the better protected you're going to be against life. But what I think and what I'm going to do on this episode is really talk about some ways that you can start right now, as opposed to the why, which I've been discussing and harping on so much. Now we're going to start to discuss the how. So what I've done is I've essentially shaved off a lot of the proverbial fat from some of these things. And I want to give you 3 steps to where either you, someone you know, someone that you want to inspire, if you're a trainer to send it to, is to give someone some simple steps into moving their markers in the right direction. And this really applies to everyone. So the first thing that we're going to talk about, and again, I'm going to be specific on this. We can talk about expansion into other things, but the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove all of the crap that you put in your coffee in the morning. The first thing is to remove anything that you are adding to your coffee in the morning. If you don't drink coffee, it may be tea. If you don't have anything in the morning, good, you're already past step 1. But here's the big part of it, is that you go into Starbucks and you see this thing labeled as natural, whatever, mochaccino. There's so many different things. And what they're doing is they're just dumping loads of sugar in these drinks. And what we need to do is to start to remove ourselves from this. But I don't think this is a way that we slowly go into it. Start drinking your coffee black and do it for 30 days. If you're the person that we're talking to, like right now, I'm looking at Hurley. He's not looking at me, but he knows this is who I'm talking to. Stop putting anything in your coffee. I promise you the efficacy of the caffeine will be there. You may not feel the same way with sugar, but why we drink coffee is either you enjoy the taste of it or you enjoy the effects of caffeine, the efficacy of having that upper. It's going to be in there. The additional sugar, it's what's pushing you in the opposite direction. So if we can remove that for 30 days, will it be difficult? Yes. Will there be a period of discomfort in there? Yes. Will you realize that black coffee maybe isn't as delicious as you want it to be? It's like, yeah, you'll figure that out. But you can mix between cold brew or hot coffee. And if your immediate thought process is, well, what if I do stevia instead of sugar? The answer is no. Or if you say, what if I want to do cream because I like this, or almond milk because I like this? It's like, hey, let's just keep it constant across the board and say no. Stop adding anything to your coffee. Try it for 30 days. It's not going to be bad for you. You're not going to all of a sudden lose your job or become a raging alcoholic or any of these things. It's going to be good, and you might develop something. It may not be how you consistently have your coffee forever, but you may realize I don't need a lot of these additives. And maybe you can start to add some almond milk or whatever it is that you enjoy putting, but we're really just trying to remove any of the sugars that we're adding to it. So that's step 1, and that's something that you can do right now or tomorrow to start moving yourself in the right direction. Step 2 is movement every day. What kind of movement? I mean, I'd like to say it doesn't matter. It does, but if right now you are living a sedentary lifestyle, meaning you are not working out each day, any kind of movement. Get outside. Start going for walks. Start going for hikes. Caveat on that, in my opinion, call it professional or unprofessional, if you can walk for more than 20 minutes without being completely out of breath, There's not a lot of adaptation happening from your walks. So maybe start to run. Maybe find 20 minutes just to do something. We actually did a challenge, and it was to start off before I even went on tour with Dylan. It was Dylan, his old tour manager. There was another couple of people who were involved, and then one of his current managers. And it was, what we're going to do is every day throughout the process of throughout an entire day, you're going to accumulate 30 push-ups, 30 sit-ups, and 30 squats. And that's just taking your body through a full range of motion. And if you have any ideas, if this is something that you want to do, you can reach out to me to say, hey, I'd want to talk about mechanics of this, or what should this look like, or what could it look like, because 30 squats is relatively difficult for me. But just having that to where you are doing something, some sort of movement, taking your body through a full range of motion, can be what stimulates the growth next, to where it's not the answer, right? Just like, only having black coffee isn't the answer. It can lead to other things. But this is a good way, low barrier to entry, to get yourself some movement in. So move every day. Here's my suggestion. 30 squats, 30 sit-ups, 30 push-ups. If it gets to the point where that is easy for you, then we can start to add some reps. And for 30 days, not having any variance isn't going to be the worst thing in the world for you. Again, it's not the answer, but it could be something that you do right now or tomorrow that starts moving you in the right direction. Number 2 is movement every day. Number 3, and this is going to go back to the diet piece of it. And if you are like, hey, I don't drink coffee in the morning, or I don't put sugar in my coffee, but I have sugary drinks when I drink at night, or I like to drink a Monster or Red Bull, figure out a way to remove the liquid added sugars to your morning beverage or your evening beverages. And if it's like, hey, I just love margaritas, try tequila soda for a month and see if that has any positive effects that you want to continue to go through. But the last thing we're going to do is we are going to try to remove processed carbohydrates, and we're going to swap them out with fruit and vegetables. It does not matter how much, for right now, it does not matter how many or how much fruits and vegetables that you eat. If you are eating them in lieu of the processed carbohydrates or the highly refined or the super high glycemic carbohydrates, you're going to be okay. Again, I've yet to see that person walking down the street who's morbidly obese and they just have a giant bag full of broccoli. And it's like, I just can't get off the carbs. Just can't, I can't stop eating these. That's usually not the case. But what is the case is how easily we can overconsume these readily available overprocessed carbohydrates. Go into a gas station. What is it going to be? Quick, super fast absorbing carbohydrates. So instead of, hey, I'm going to eat a burger at this restaurant, remove the bun and tell them as many vegetables as you can on the plate. If you are doing something at home and you want to have pasta for dinner, whatever it is. I mean, there's other ways you can do it with, spaghetti squash or using zucchini, but find these vegetables. It's relatively cheap. You can eat way more of them, and it's going to put you in the right direction. The same thing goes with fruit. It's like, yeah, sure, is some fruit higher on the glycemic index? It's higher in actual carbohydrate content than some of the other vegetables. It's like, yeah, but for the most part, that's not our problem. If instead of eating a sandwich, you eat a bushel of bananas, carbohydrate intake probably going to be higher with the bananas. But one, you're not going to be able to do that. It's too much food, and the amount of fibers that come naturally in a banana, it's going to slow down the digestion process. It's going to put you in the right direction. Same thing goes. If you want to eat 9 apples, great. Here's something that is not included in that. No fruit juices. So if you're going to eat fruits and vegetables, eat them in the form that they came in. I remember the Bull House? It's like a carrot juice. And you're like, oh, great, carrot juice. Only ingredient, carrots. Fantastic. How many of them? There's 27 carrots in this juice. It's like, go eat 27 carrots and tell me how that feels. You're not going to be able to do that because they took the stuff that's going to slow down that process that makes it good. And again, yes, there are worse things, but let's eliminate the fruit juices and try to replace some of the carbohydrates we're eating. It's in breads, pasta, some of the starches. I don't want to say potatoes are bad, but if we can switch that into some more, the broccolis, the carrots, the cauliflowers, like any of those vegetables, the higher it is processed, the worse it's going to be for you. So let's just simplify the process here. Fruits and vegetables. And it's pretty easy. And I think for me, at least, to curb that sweetness or that sugar crave that we have, that can help out with it. Go to the store and get a thing of raspberries. Eat the whole thing in one sitting. I don't care. But if you can start to make that your habit rather than eating the loads of bread with dinner or eating the loads of, we talk about sugars and everything there. There's some simple ways that we can do stuff, and they're whole foods. We can take that same approach with everything in our diet, especially when it comes to fats and proteins, but we're not going to go there quite yet. We're just giving you 3 simple and easy steps to start moving your markers, your health markers and your physical markers from sickness to well and from well to fit. This can start that process. So I'm challenging you or someone to start with the coffee. And I don't want, yes, it's hard. It's going to be difficult. What I don't want you to do is fall victim to, well, maybe I'll just use less sugar. Will it make you overall probably feel better in the first initial few days? Yeah, it will, because you're going through withdrawals because you're addicted to sugar, which is a drug. I think we talked about it before. If I'm addicted to cocaine and I want to stop doing cocaine, there's not a lot of doctors or people who will be like, "Oh, you feel uncomfortable right now? Well, maybe just a little. Maybe just get a little bit in there. And then, you start to feel better and we can wean off of it." It's like there's going to be periods of discomfort, but it is worth it. Maybe you let your boss know, hey, for the next 7 to 9 days, I might be miserable in the morning because I don't have my daily dose of drug sugar that I've been putting in my coffee. But overall, I promise you, you will feel better without it. And not feel better without it than relative to your withdrawals on it, but you will feel better than when you were consuming it all the time. You'll realize that your energy spikes aren't going to be like this. You're going to realize that maybe you didn't actually need that much caffeine. Maybe it was actually just the amount of sugar that your body wanted. And you're not going to crave it that much or as much. So remove anything from your coffees. We're going to start with a 30-day challenge of black coffee. I prefer iced because I like a little bit more flavor. You also might decide which coffee is good or not. If the local store you've been going to down the road maybe doesn't serve that good of coffee, their sugar is just real nice, maybe you start going. Maybe you start making your own coffee. Maybe you start saving some money. The second one is movement every day. The third one is trying to replace our processed carbohydrates with fruits and vegetables. I don't want to talk down on this to be like, I think everyone can, me especially. I think about, this last weekend when I was out, I wasn't following this as strict as possible. I did the movement and I don't put anything in my coffees in the morning. But I start to fall victim to, this is readily accessible for carbohydrate. That's what I'm going to eat, as opposed to just sticking to it, knowing that I'm going to feel better afterwards. So it might be a nice little gut check or recheck for some of us to say, hey, I can improve on this. But for some of us, it might be the life-saving advice. There are people that I know that have lost over 100 pounds from the first one. From no more, orange mocha frappuccinos or all of these, even in the afternoon, these specialty drinks that are just, unbelievable amounts of sugar. If that's what you want, there's a good starting point. That's about all I've got. I don't want to overcomplicate it. I want to keep it simple. If there's any questions that you have, if you're serious about this and you want to do it, but you're having trouble figuring out what else to eat, you can always reach out to me. You can reach out to the Big Night Fitness Instagram. You can reach out to me at Conor T. Murphy. You can send an email to conor@bignight.com. However you want to come in contact with me. Again, I'm not selling you a program. I'm not selling you a challenge where you're going to pay me to do this. Maybe I should for some accountability. But hold yourselves accountable to this. Find someone else to say, hey, we're going to be on Black Coffee Gang. You want to start doing that? Hurley's going to start. You're going to start? Of course. Hell yeah. See, he's here. He's here for it. Well, guys, as always, thank you for tuning in. Quick little 15-minute episode here, but I always appreciate feedback, always appreciate positive and negative. And if there's anything else that we can do for you, fantastic. If not, I'll see you guys at next week's episode. Thanks again.